Hi, I'm Lance Henriksen. You're watching Bryan Lomax Movie Talk.
In Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, we get a new vigilante in Gotham City in the shape of Batwoman. Now, the identity of this new vigilante is unknown, and that's the mystery of the film. Who is Batwoman? Now, it becomes apparent very early on in the film that there are three possible candidates. One is a gangster's daughter, one is a woman who works for Bruce Wayne in her tech department, and one is a police detective. Now, the Batwoman's primary mission is to sabotage the plans of the Penguin and Rupert Thorne. So in order to stop this vigilante, the Penguin drafts in the help of Bane. All this, of course, leads to a big showdown with Batman and Robin getting caught in the middle of this war between the villains and this new vigilante. When I first saw this film and it came out on DVD, I thought it was a pretty decent film, a ripping good yarn, so to speak. But after watching it now in quick succession after Batman Mask of the Phantasm, I've got to say there's a considerable drop in quality. This film really feels like it's trying to be family friendly. It's very light-hearted. It doesn't kind of have the darker edge that Mask of the Phantasm did, even though it does, over here at any rate, have a higher rating. A lot of the deficiencies for this film really lie in the script. It's not written that well, but the story itself is actually quite a good one. In more capable hands, I could see it being reworked as a really good animated Batman film. Whereas Mask of the Phantasm felt really cinematic, it felt like that next step from the TV series, like it elevated it in some way. This feels like it's part of the TV series. It could very well be just 3 episodes stitched together to make a movie. But that being said, they've done that before when they did the Batman vs Superman film, and that turned out really well. That was a very good film. But on this one, not so much. We get a redesign here of both the Penguin and Bane, and I gotta say I don't like them. I prefer their designs earlier on in the series. Bane's design in particular just looks ridiculous because the upper half of his body is so much bigger than the lower half. You wonder how he can support himself, and his mask, his head just looks really small for his body, and he's got all these weird kind of spikes coming out of his neck that look a little bit too S&M for my liking. I just don't like the design of him here in this film. I also prefer the original voices for these two characters. Now, a lot of the same people from the series come on board, but for Penguin and Bane in particular, their voices have changed, and not for the better in my mind. One of the worst aspects of this film for me is the absence of Shirley Walker from the score. Instead, we get a score by Lolita Ritmanis. She does an adequate job in parts, but a lot of the time I don't like the themes that she comes up with, like the little theme she comes up with for Batwoman's character when that pops in. It's a little bit too jazzy. At times it feels like someone sped it up. It's like they've taken a theme that has been done and thought, no, actually we need to jazz that up a bit, and kind of sped it up a bit. That's just the way it sounds to me, and it just doesn't sit well when I'm watching the film. What I will say about the character of Batwoman is I do like the design of her costume. I think it's a really good design and it fits in well with the universe. We get a brief appearance in this film by Barbara Gordon, and when she pops in, she's so out of character to what we've seen in the series that it really kind of takes me out of the film. I just sit there thinking, who is this woman? Because she has this crush on Bruce Wayne, and it almost kind of feels like maybe they've been dating. It's just weird. It's a weird little moment that's completely out of character and really throws me off. There are still some nice moments in the film. There's some good action sequences. There's also a few playful moments with Batman's character. I like when a thug that he'd previously beaten up in another scene enters the room and finds Batman there, and rather than challenging him, he just kind of walks out because he doesn't want to get into another fight. He knows who Batman is, what he's capable of, and that was a nice moment, a funny moment. This isn't the worst Batman film, not by a long shot, not when you got the likes of Batman and Robin out there, but it does feel like a bit of a disappointment, I've got to say. That being said, it is still fairly entertaining. It moves along at quite a nice pace, and if you're prepared to just switch your brain off, sit back, and you just want to throw something in that's going to pass the time, then it works. So I'm going to give this a 5.5 out of 10. This may seem harsh to some people, but as a fan of Batman, comparing this to the likes of Mask of the Phantasm, I just can't bring myself to give it a higher score than that. That being said, I want to know what you think. So Comment below and let me know what you thought of this film. How do you think it rates? How do you think it stacks up against other Batman movies? Until next time, thanks for watching. Boom, y'all.